A lot of times when we're using a ball screen, we're using a ball screen to drag and hit the roller for a layup, come off the screen, gap and kick to the wing, make a play for other people. But the only way that you're really going to effectively open up plays or open shots or assists for teammates is if you're a threat to score in the first place. And right now, since this is a great time where we don't necessarily have teammates, other people to come to the court and practice with us, it's a great time to hone some of our individual skills. So what we're going to do here first, I've set up the 2 chairs on either side of where it would be directly in the top of the key. That's where most screens are attempting to happen. Top of the key area, and just because of defensive pressure, you're usually going to wind up with the guy a few feet to one side or the other. So on this drill, we're just going over different ways that you would score off of a ball screen. So what are the different shots you would take? And again, just like the form shooting, X out, all those different things, there's a technique to it, and it's a lot of practice and repetition involved. Obviously, sometimes if time doesn't permit, you're only going to do a few reps of one thing and then move on to the next. But during a period like this, when it comes to taking longer stretch of time to do intense skill development, I think it's important to spend a lot of time and a lot of reps in each individual area, or you're not going to get it. If I tell a player, go take floaters, let's work on your right hand floaters today, and you take 5 with your right hand, 5 with your left hand, you make 2 with each hand, and then move on, you didn't learn anything at all. So with this drill, we're either setting it up for makes or time. So usually, if we have time in the gym, for each different finish, I like to set 2 minutes on them. So you're gonna spend 2 straight minutes going at 75 to 85%, because I want you guys to be able to slow down and actually see what you're doing wrong. If I just keep going 100 miles an hour and throwing the ball up, I'm not gonna notice what I'm doing wrong. A lot of this is about going at that pace in between halfway and full speed. We're gonna go 2 minutes and see what am I doing wrong with my hand, why I keep missing this layup. You always take the easiest thing first. So our first look is to look and see, do we have an opportunity to just turn the corner and drive? So I'm gonna set my clock for either 20 makes or 2 minutes, one or the other, and I'm gonna start. Our first option when we're coming off the ball screen looking to score is to see if we can turn the corner and attack the rim. Either the guy who's guarding the screen, who's following the 5-man up to set the screen, is a few feet back and he's not there yet, or he's hugged tight, or he takes one baby step out to try to guard. Can we just turn right around the corner with our man trailing because he hit the screen and just drive right around him straight to the rim? So we want to stay in the paint as much on a line drive toward the rim as we can. Round. Use a straight. Attack the score. Next up, we're gonna assume that most of the time, that's not always gonna be there. That's our first look to turn the corner and score, but you have to assume that your shot is gonna come somewhere outside the paint because your man's trailing, trying to get their hands on the side of you, and other people are gonna rotate to help. So now we're going 1 foot shot outside the paint, foot on the block. Now just taking 1 step or a step and a half outside from what's a direct layup to be right on the block with 1 step is a lot harder shot. We're gonna do the same thing now, come to a 2 foot stop. We couldn't get all the way to the rim. Going into the paint is gonna make the 5-man commit to us. We're stopping on 2 feet outside the paint, my inside foot on the block, short shot off the glass. Now it's okay to miss shots. That's part of the point of this drill. I don't expect everyone here to be able to come to 2-foot stop outside the paint and make a floater every time with the ball basically coming from your shoulder up. It's a difficult shot even though you're only taking 1 step out. So if you miss, it's okay. The point is to realize, why did I miss that last one? How do I need to change my left hand, get my elbow underneath, whatever it is I'm doing wrong? It's an easy way to teach yourself because you've got 20 makes or 2 minutes to figure it out. Next, we're gonna do same thing outside the block because you can't just walk all the way to the rim most scenarios. Outside the block, we're off balance or we're coming from a certain direction where we need to leave off the other foot. I'm going off my outside foot, inside hand. So 1 inside leg in the air, outside foot on the ground, inside hand. And part of the reason why we're coming down the lane line area is because if you didn't turn the corner on a screen and you didn't split, you probably had to bounce around the defense. For most players, you're gonna be scoring along that lane line. Also, when we're coming off the screen, unless you have a significant height advantage over your defender, and even then, you might not want to do this, one of the biggest habits that guys have that annoys me, that I think very rarely do you see it end up helping someone or them making a great play because they've done this, is coming off the screen immediately after they've beat their man from one direction, have them behind, which was the whole point of the screen, turning back, facing up, and lifting their stomach. So you'll see it like this. You'll use the screen and then do this, giving the guy who just got screened all that room to just get right back underneath you and make a play. If you're a good player, you have peripheral vision. You can come off the screen and see the guy rolling to the rim. You should have a feel. If you see the rim and there's help defense coming in from the wing, now you know the wing guy is open for a kickback. You don't have to turn, face up, give the guy this whole chance to get bellied up inside you and break up the play after we just set a screen on him to get him behind you so you can go towards the rim. You want to get low. Shoulder can be slightly open so I can still see what's happening. I can see if I need to make a pocket pass over the top or if I'm going to drag it out and then feed, but I don't want to come off the screen and start facing up and bellying up. Because teams that are taught to actually defend well, get inside you, play aggressively, don't just die on the screen and then give you space to stand straight up, totally face the rim after you've just used a screen. They're getting back underneath you and trying to make you uncomfortable. So get off the screen low, shoulder can be slightly open, I'm seeing the court, and then I'm making my read. Now we're gonna go first marker, drive it, short floater from the first marker, no glass. Now, what do we do when the guy who's guarding the ball screen isn't hugging him? He doesn't jump out attached where we just bounce around, but he jumps out hard and high and is trying to cut you off all the way to half court. We've got to be ready to instinctively take our ball from one hip, push it through, change hands, and change hands back quickly to split the screen. And if we can get there for a layup, we will. Right now, we're going to imagine that we split the screen and help defense from the wing or the other block is scrambling into the paint. So we're going to split the screen, and in the paint, underneath the elbow, floater. Now again, when we split, we don't want to change before we get through the screen and it still gets broken up. We want to get low and bring the ball through. But if I keep it in my left, I don't want to get it back tapped by that guy. So I'm quickly bouncing it back to my strong hand, rising up for a finish. Now, we're gonna either hold the screen, probe the court, whatever you wanna call it. We're using the screen, and one of my favorite things to teach, if I'm coming around the screen, first of all, the big guy's role is to set you a screen, first and foremost. So for the big man, you're screening me until I let you go. I'm using you as a screen so that my man is no longer in front of me. So when I come around the screen, I'm going fast to the screen, slowing down, and as a guard, especially if you're smaller, there's no rule that says you're not allowed to hold your own teammate. I'm using the screen here. I'm holding 1, 2. On my second dribble, I might be letting him go, so he's rolling. This orange cone is when a bigger defender gets lazy. And you start to see it. You might say, this team plays this way. How do they play in the third and fourth quarter of a game? Not every big guy continues to go all the way out to the three-point line. A lot of guys start hanging back. And now, if I use that screen like I'm supposed to, and I don't just let him roll out of the way quickly before hitting my man, it's a 2-on-1, because my man's behind me and the big guy are attacking the 5-man. So I can drive and dish, or I can drive and pull up when he starts to retreat. Hold the defense off. 1, 2. We're letting him roll while I've got my man stuck behind me, because I used the screen effectively. I'm pushing it. When the big guy keeps backing up, my man's behind me, he's backing up. I've got space to pull up. If he was to play up on me when I drove, it's a drop off. All right, so right now, we're gonna do hold the screen, 1, 2 dribble, push off, elbow jump shots. Now, if I've used the screen and I don't have the ability right away to turn the corner and score, I didn't have the ability to split, I got around the help defense from the screener's man, but my guy is still chasing me down and there's nowhere for me to go, I'm dragging it. Now, I might drag it right away anyway. If I'm on the court and the big guy on our team is our best player, or it's easy for him to score inside, he's 7 foot and the other team's big at 6'7", I might be looking to drag anyway so I can just feed it right inside. So when I don't have anything, I'm dragging to the wing. Now I'm imagining I dragged it to the wing hard, looking for the bigger guy, had a few feet of space between my man, and now I've got his momentum coming my direction. I'm gonna quick, between the legs cross, drive middle, and use his momentum against him.